This season, we learned that the teams would only play within their division. Wow. Think of the intense rivalry games. But what about when two bottom teams are playing a meaningless game halfway through the season on a Monday? Well, the Canucks did win, technically, but it was mostly Demko. A sloppy, slushy, back and forth gushy game with little to write home about. I barely stayed awake for it. But let's go through it. The start of this game, it felt like both teams thought this would be an easy one. The game was quite sleepy to start off, tons of stoppages, very little passion. Miller had a dozy back check where he was just watching the play and Shabbat walked right past him and got a point-blank shot. Luckily, Demko was unbelievable again this game. Jake and Horvat, I thought, showed a bit of chemistry together. They actually got the first great pressure of the game. Michaelis looked good too. He had a nice shift with Gaudette and Hawryluk. Jace and Michaelis worked together to get a nice goal. Sutter tied up a center on an offensive zone faceoff. Hawryluk and Michaelis worked to get it back to the point. There was a point shot. Sutter got the first rebound. Michaelis and Hawryluk were swarming around the net, and Hawryluk banged in the second rebound. Miller had several terrible giveaways in the first period. The worst one, he was in the Canucks zone. The Canucks had numbers. There was no pressure, and he flicks a backhand right out to the middle in front of Demko for another dangerous chance. The Canucks did score with just over 1 minute left in the first period. Hawryluk and Horvat were battling behind the Ottawa net, and a Senator passed it directly up the middle to Tanner Pearson for a really nice one-timer. I love the smile on Pearson's face. Coupling that with the image of, I think it was White on Ottawa, and I think there was some media outlet had actually put Pearson scores assisted by White. Brutal. The shots at that point were 18-9 Ottawa, but the Canucks were up 2-0. In the second period, Sportsnet was so busy showing us their instant replay with names above the heads that we missed the entire play leading up to the goal. When they tried to show a replay of the actual goal, it was sort of on this other camera. It was zoomed in. It was really blurry. It was whipping back and forth. It was pretty awful. End of the second period. McEwen gets a rare shift and causes some havoc down low, fighting for the puck, winning battles. Gaudette fights with him, and they drop penalty. Like, play McEwen more. It seems like Green wanted to just get out of here playing mostly 9 forwards and win the game 2-1. The third period was a real stumbly, bumbly, sloppy slush. Bad passes, no flow. Just terrible. Höglander and Horvat showed some more chemistry. Horvat and Höglander won the puck in the Canucks zone. They worked it through the neutral zone together. Höglander sticks with the Ottawa man, then peels off to create space. This was mentioned in the Armies. Really fantastic analysis that made me appreciate Höglander even more. I love the Armies on The Athletic. Höglander makes a nice little stick move around a few Senators' sticks and passes it right to Horvat's stick in the crease, but he can't get it elevated for the goal. Gaudette had a penalty at one point. I rewatched the replay several times, and it's easy to track because the Canucks had the puck for most of the play. They didn't have the puck for just a few seconds, and then the ref's arm went up. It was a Gaudette high sticking, but from the time the Canucks didn't have the puck, Gaudette wasn't near any Senator. So was it an extra delayed call from something that happened? There were a few instances where he was off the camera, so it could have happened then, but I did not see anything on the replay when the Canucks didn't have the puck. There was really nothing in the third period until Ottawa was down by 1. They pull the goalie. Puck goes to the side Canuck boards. Edler and Sutter go after it. Tkachuk goes in there, causes Sutter to fall over into Edler. Tkachuk has control, centers the puck, and they score with 2 minutes to go. At this point, the Senators had over 40 shots. In overtime, a little bit of back and forth. There's this new trend, it seems, where players hold on to the puck a lot more, and they sort of wait, and they'll go out of the zone and back into the zone because it's so much easier to gain the zone. And it's pretty typical of the NHL, where something is exciting, and then the coaches and the players figure out, how can we play this safer, and it ends up being a lot more boring. But Horvat made a nice play, held onto the puck, kept it out. I think he got it over to Hughes. He found Miller on a breakaway. Nice move, and scored. This was a pretty As far as entertainment goes, I found it incredibly boring. A real lack of passion. Ottawa's not a great team. The Canucks are not a deep team. It seemed like we were really noticing the absence of Pettersson. Miller and Horvat and other players have stepped up in previous games in Pettersson's absence, but this is where it really felt like the Canucks were missing that dynamic, elite center, that kind of skill set that Pettersson brings. You see it missing definitely on the power play, where Tanner Pearson's in there and he's a fine player, a fine middle six player, but when you have him on your power play and he's behind the net and he's frantically skating around, he just doesn't have the amazing skills that Pettersson has with the puck and the control. So we're really going to appreciate him a lot more when he comes back. Hopefully he can hit the ground running. It's not going to be a bit slow coming off injury, although that could easily be the case too. I don't really know a lot of information about the injury. It seems like it's gone from sort of day to day to a little bit longer. He wasn't on the trip, although hopefully we'll get to see my man Tyler Mott get back into the lineup. I guess Roussel's traveling with the team too. God, he just offers nothing. Zach McEwen, in one shift, offers more than what Roussel gives you game after game after game. I don't know what Travis Green sees in him. Maybe if they're trying to trade him, then okay, all is forgiven. But if you hold on to this guy, just put him down. Get rid of him. I thought Louis Eriksson, he kind of struggled too. I mean, even with my immensely lowered expectations for Eriksson, of all Louis has to do to impress me is go out there and play neutral hockey. Be responsible with the puck. Don't allow a lot of crazy chances. I don't care if you generate much, but if you're just going to go out there, check people like crazy, play a good penalty kill. But he had some bungled moments. Demko was unbelievable. He was unbelievable, and he has consistently shown that he can do that. And he's doing it every which way you need to do. Whether it's mostly just the modern goalie game of cutting off angles, being in the right position. He made some really fast athletic saves. There was one that looked like a guaranteed goal, and he got across his crease so fast with his skate and the pad down. He was easily the star of the game, the star of the Canucks season. It'd be interesting to see what he gets paid. Goalies can be kind of tricky, and I feel like we're transitioning out of what players used to be paid based on their age to what it's like now, when we realize that hockey players are aging faster than ever. They're becoming more effective at a younger age than before. It used to be an older man's game where young players just really struggled to make any kind of an impact. And now it's like, get them in, get as much output and quality of their play as you can. Because once you hit 30, 31, it's kind of a crapshoot, and players can fall off a cliff really, really fast as the game gets faster and younger. And goalies are a part of that, where they still take a hell of a long time to develop, but now is the time. Whereas a goalie of Demko's age in the past wouldn't see, especially, I believe he's a restricted free agent, would not see any kind of a big salary. But we're realizing that, if he has an agent who's progressive and makes a good case for him, he could get paid big money. I would believe that it would be less than what Markstrom got. So Markstrom got what, $6 million, 6 years? Okay, that makes sense. He's a UFA, and that's high for a goalie because goalies are so unpredictable. Demko's younger, has less proven seasons, is an RFA. So if you could lock him up for, say, 4 or 5 years, could you buy a few of his UFA years at like $4 or $5 million? $5 million would be nice. He doesn't have to play at the level he's been playing in this last week. No goalie can. But if he can just be above average, but consistently, reliably above average, and at times great, I'd be happy giving him 5 for many years. But goalies, you never know. It's a psychological game. It's a physical game. It's mental. It's impossible to predict. But so far, Demko has shown that he is one of the Canucks' best bets to come along in years. I feel like the fan base's view of him right now, and I guess I can only speak for myself, is that I feel more confident that Demko is going to be providing better goaltending in the next, say, 6 years than Markstrom will. Markstrom was incredible for the Canucks, but he had, even in the last couple of years, he would have games where he would let in a soft goal, and he's so emotional. You always wondered, Was he going to be able to keep it under control? He was a fantastic leader, though. I feel like they really gelled underneath him, and they kind of worked harder for him. This team, without Pettersson and without Markstrom and Tanev, I feel like Miller takes the lead. And while Miller, when he wants to, can be a real badass Ryan Kessler type who gets in the fight, isn't afraid to punch people, and he can will pucks into the net when he needs to. But when it's not going well, you see him coasting a lot, making terrible plays, and setting a bad example. So those are my thoughts on the overall chemistry and psychology of the team. I guess they're up against Ottawa one more time. That's on tomorrow. Okay, fantastic. So that'll be on Wednesday, 7 p.m. against Ottawa. Friday, they play the Canadiens at 7 p.m. These are Eastern times, by the way. If you're listening to this in Vancouver, that'll be Wednesday, 4 p.m. for you and the Ottawa Senators. Then they're going to travel to Montreal, play 4 p.m. against the Canadiens on Friday. Saturday, another 4 p.m. game against the Canadiens. And then a nice 7 p.m. game for you when the Jets take them on at home on Monday, which is 10 p.m. for me. We go, look, this is my life up coming up here. We got a 10:30 start against the Jets, a 10:30 start against the Flames. Outrageous. How about that bullshit 11 p.m. start? They're playing the Montreal Canadiens, and they're starting at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Anyway, enough complaining. Thanks for listening. Bye.